We're now in the men's locker room, joined with head coach Ryan Looney, and this is the Ryan Looney Show #1. Hope you're ready for Mountie's All Access.
Oh yeah.
Now, Coach, briefly kind of recap on a big night on Saturday.
Well, it was pretty emotional. Obviously, it was senior night, so 4 of our guys got to play their last regular season home game in Quinn Coliseum, but definitely not their last. Hopefully we can keep it alive here in the conference tournament so they can play as many as possible here in LeGrand. But the game was pretty exciting too. There was a lot on the line. An outright conference title, an automatic trip to the national tournament, and we set a school record for most wins in a season too with 24. So all in all, it was probably as big a night of basketball as maybe there's ever been.
Now, I don't think a lot of people might know, but it wasn't too long ago the Mounties only had 4 wins.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot with our team. Our first year here, it was a little bit of a battle. We had to work hard to kind of build our program, for lack of a better term. And I couldn't be happier for the bunch of people or guys that we have on our team right now, because they made a decision to come to school here. Because they trusted our coaching staff at a time when we weren't all that successful, and we've gotten to the point where right now we've won our school's first Cascade Collegiate Conference Championship.
Now, I talked a little bit with Coach Weisenfluh and asked her what her favorite postseason memory. You don't have that many, so talk about what that means for you this year.
It means a ton. I mean, this is probably as big a thing as we could accomplish in this point of our season. So to win our first conference championship, and my first conference championship as a head coach, it's pretty exciting.
Now, you have the final rankings coming out on Wednesday, and this is a little different situation than when you were at last year.
Yeah, it's a lot different situation. Last year we were in the poll the whole entire season, and then unfortunately dropped out right before the conference tournament started. And we thought the only way we were going to be able to get into the national tournament was to win the tournament championship. And we got close, played in the championship game at Warner Pacific, and they got us in the second half of that game, and we've kind of used that as a little bit of motivation going into this tournament. And right now we're on the flip side. We were fortunate enough to be in the top of our conference standings when the season got over, which earned us an automatic berth to the national tournament. The last poll comes out on Wednesday. I'm not even going to venture to say where we might be ranked, but we need to use these conference tournament games as motivation to try to get ourselves the highest seed possible in Branson.
I was going to ask, dare I say, a top 5 ranking for you?
I hope so, and for our guys, I think they deserve it. Some things happened around the country over the weekend that would maybe make that possible, but at the same time, crazy things have happened, and I mean, who knows where it might be.
It's hard to not look ahead to the national tournament now that you've made it. If you're in the top 5, it works a little different in the NAIA. The final poll is used for the seeding process. Obviously, we saw last year that we were just out of the qualifications for an at-large bid. The differences between the NCAA and NAIA, talk a little bit about those.
Well, obviously the NCAA tournament's bigger. There's 64 teams. There's only 32 in ours. To me, at the NCAA level, the people who rate, they get a chance to see all the teams on TV nationwide. They can compare one versus the other a little bit more closely than maybe we can at the NAIA level. We don't get a chance to see teams on the East Coast or the Midwest play, and vice versa. They don't get to see us play either. So I think it's a little bit harder for teams or raters to be able to become 100% accurate in the poll, which makes probably the national tournament that much more interesting.
I got a nice little lawnmower in the background here, but
yep.
We'll get through this. We're going to be at the Cascade Conference Tournament, hosting here in LeGrand. Got to be amazing at Quinn Coliseum. And Coach Weisenfluh shared some of her reasons why Quinn Coliseum is such a tough place to play. And she mentioned the student body. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think our student crowd, for the most part, has been great this year. They're loud. They're more than supportive to our athletes on the floor. But I think it's hard for teams to play in Quinn for a lot of different reasons. Number one, we're isolated in Eastern Oregon a little bit. It's not a short trip for anybody to come here. I don't know that teams necessarily have all that much to do while they're in town before they play the game, which those days can get kind of long on the road sometimes. But at the same time, I mean, our teams are good right now. It's never easy to go into a hostile environment with a large number of people and be successful.
Right. Before looking at the whole conference as a whole, we got to mention who we're going to play first in the first round. You got Northwest Christian. It's got to be nice playing the team you just played.
Yeah, it is nice, but at the same time, it's hard to beat somebody 3 times in one season. And just as nice as it is for us, it's just as nice for them too. Scouting will become a pretty important part of the game. We're going to work hard these next 2 days to be the team that's most prepared. But I think our approach to the game is going to have to be a little bit different than it was just a couple of days ago, because we rode on emotion for 20 straight minutes in that thing, and it took us a long way. And that wasn't necessarily the case the first time we played them at their place. So we're going to have to approach the game a little bit differently. We're going to need to make sure that we're prepared, X's and O's wise, and just make sure we're ready to go.
You're getting to about that time of year where upsets start to happen, and it's getting close to March and the madness. You don't have to look too far back, especially in the Cascade Conference. Last year, the #1 team, Oregon Tech, hosted Evergreen State, who was the 8th seed, and Evergreen State went down to Klamath Falls and beat them.
Yeah, the special thing about the Cascade Conference is traditionally there's been a lot of parity. The 8th team, in all honesty, isn't that much different than the #1 team. So I don't know that we can necessarily look at it like it's one playing 8. It's more like one of the better teams in our league playing against a team that's capable of beating anybody on any night.
Now, if we take a look at the conference, and you would say who's the hottest team at the moment, you know, you have to factor in, of course, Eastern Oregon, but you also got Oregon Tech right there on your heels. The top 4 teams, Warner Pack, Evergreen State, and you got Concordia playing pretty good ball right now.
Yeah, all of those teams. I would even throw in Northwest, probably all capable of winning this conference tournament. Like I just previously stated, there's a lot of parity. Anyone's beaten anyone at different points in the season. And like you just said, I think Concordia is one of the teams that's hot right now.
And we'll end on a good question here. Now, I don't know how much television you watch. I asked Coach Weisenflu, you got the writer's strike going on right now. What shows are you missing the most?
I don't really watch any TV this time of year. I wish I knew what you were talking about, but I don't.
Well, fair enough. Coach Looney, thank you for joining us, and we're going to join with you next week for our second show with you, and hope we'll be talking about a conference tournament championship.
Hopefully.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, no, lawnmower.
Yeah, maybe better open up that door and cuss him out.
Doesn't he know what's going on right now?